I'm enjoying this a little more than I should be. In this video, everyone, we're going to do another essentials video. So if you're new or you're at least considering having a campervan or motorhome, stay with us. So the very first video that I filmed as an essentials video was this video, and it was with our T6 campervan. That T6 campervan. I miss that campervan. It's been a very successful video and still gets a lot of views. Thank you very much if you've watched that. We have done some other essentials videos since then, of course. So the second one we did, this one, we went through what we use, but then we did a separate video. This one, showing the cost or highlighting the cost, because all these things add up. Now, of course, let me get this out straight away, everyone. In this video, we're not suggesting that you need every item that we're going to show you, but we just feel that it's good to show you the items that are out there, how the costs add up, and then you can decide for yourselves which items you'd like to try in your campervan or motorhome and which items that you're prepared to bring from home. So just bear with us on that one. We're not asking you to buy everything. And then we did this video, which, if I remember rightly, we totted up the numbers at the end. So to make this a little bit different, we're going to keep a running total, and I haven't decided yet, because that'll be in the edit, whether that total is going to be above Fran's head or above my head. We'll put it maybe above my head, and then it means I'm paying for it. Does that sound like a fair option?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So it's better if I pay for it. So we're going to press on. What I will say at the very beginning, and I'm only going to say this once, is we do have an Amazon store front shop. I'll put a little on-screen footage now. Now, on that Amazon storefront shop, everything that we're discussing today, you will see in that shop. If you do choose to click on the link, which is always in the description below the video and as a pinned comment under the video, if you do choose to click on the link and you do actually purchase something from the site, we do make a small commission, and we are very grateful for that small commission. But of course, it goes without saying, we don't see any of your personal details. You are ultimately dealing with Amazon. You're not dealing with us, but Amazon credit us with a, I guess I'd liken it to the old days when I had an aunt of mine that run a catalogue. I think it was a Burlington catalogue, and she used to get as much of the family as possible to buy stuff through her because she'd get a few pennies commission. You know what I'm saying. But we're very grateful for everyone that uses our Amazon store front shop. It's the only time, like I said, that I'm going to say it. So we're going to press on, and I'm going to cheat because I've got things on screen. Some of the items we're going to physically show you and explain a little bit about. And some of the items will just show you an image on screen, because we can't fit all the items around us. Otherwise, you're going to see us fighting around the van for half an hour. And you don't want to, well, maybe you do want to see that. A whole different video. So we're going to start with probably the most obvious one. Or should I say two. It's quite heavy. And there's a reason it's quite heavy. This, it is quite heavy. It's a 25, I can see why this is my side now. This is a 25 metre cable, and it's on a reel. So there's obviously two items there. Now, the 25 metre cable does create some debate. And for most people, they're in agreement that it's best to go for a 25 metre cable, because as we found on our very first camping trip, with our starter pack and a 10 metre cable, it wasn't long enough. Some people will suggest that you join cables together. We don't recommend that, and I know the campsites don't recommend that. So in my opinion, you go with the correct size cable at the beginning. The only risk, and again, this is a contentious issue for a small minority of people, the only risk with having a 25 metre cable, everyone, is that you are encouraged, or it's encouraging you, shall we say, to not unreel it all or unwind it all if you don't need it. So, for instance, if you're only needing 15 metres, then by my simple Birmingham mathematics, 10 metres could be still coiled. It is not safe to use an extension lead that's coiled. That's just facts. The fire surface says, the campsite says, it causes something called induction. Now, what I would say to people is this: if you're not using all 25 metres, and it's unlikely that you're going to use every metre, uncoiling that extra amount is only going to take you seconds. What are you going to do with those seconds in your life? And of course, vice versa, when you're reeling it back up, it's on an easy reel. You just stand there and you reel it in. There really is no excuse. You shouldn't leave them wound up. You should be aware of the dangers. So we would recommend a 25 metre, bearing in mind that this 25 metre has a 2.5mm core, because, unsurprisingly in this world, not all mains cables are created equal. I can see my wife is just nodding and nodding and nodding at the moment. Fran will say something in a minute, I'm sure. We use one that's got a 2.5mm core. Cheaper ones have a 1.5mm core. They don't cope with as many amps. They're not as good. They're not as safe. I'm not going to recommend them. The one I recommend is the one that I've just shown you.
Size does make a difference.
Size does make a difference. You heard it from Fran. Don't know where she's got that experience. So, moving swiftly on, let's talk hoses. Again, another contentious issue amongst a few campers, because their argument would be any hose will be fine. Again, I'm going to disagree. We use a non-toxic extension hose. We actually use two, and there's like a joiner connection, because again, you never know, 10 meters might not be enough. But in our opinion, we would prefer to use a non-toxic hose. I don't think we need to say any more about it, really. It's your choice, but for us, personally, no contest, non-toxic it is. What I will say is about this van, some people fit an adapter to where you fill the van up with water. You can fill it from directly under where the seat is. If you watch a review of this van and you're interested in this van, we'll show you that anyway. That's already been filmed in a previous video. But if you're filming the water on a campsite now, so if you're filling the water on a campsite, there is no fitting that we found that fits at the side that allows you to plug the hose on and then leave it. And to be quite honest, I'm not a fan of leaving them anyway. We've found that the simple nozzle thing that's on the end, like you might use to water the garden or wash the van or whatever, if you leave that on and just carefully place it into the hole and you don't put the water on full pressure, it sits there quite happily filling, and then about 5-6 minutes later the tank's full. So I personally wouldn't waste my money on one of those adapters anyway, but you pay your money, you take your choice. The next one, and I'll put an inset picture in now of course, is protecting your vehicle. If you have a Fiat Ducato like we're sitting in now, our Ducato, we use a Disklok. The Disklok is, now obviously I'm not suggesting that these things aren't defeatable, they are, but it's all about slowing down the numpties that want to take your pride and joy that you've worked hard for. So we use a Disklok. Some people use a medium-sized Disklok, but actually we use the small because the size of the steering wheel allows the small one to fit. I'm not a fan of fitting a Disklok that's too loose, because there's always a risk that someone's going to be able to pry something behind where the Disklok is on the wheel and bend it to just the point where it pops off. So we would always recommend, on this particular van at least, a small version of the Disklok. And while we're talking Disklok, you don't want to be damaging that steering wheel, do you? We would always recommend fitting a sock like that's on screen now. Whilst we're talking about things that involve the van itself, safety, we would always recommend having a hammer set. So basically a glass hammer set. It's on screen now. You would use that to pop the glass, yeah, and basically hopefully get out in time. Cool. The next one is the Colapz pipes, because now if you've got a T-Line 590 like ours, you'll be aware that the outlets for the grey water waste, if you are completely new to campervanning and motorhoming, is the stuff that's come through the drain from your sink and the shower. It is not the toilet. That is completely separate. We've got this video that deals with the toilet cassette. Please go and check it out. So the problem with this particular design of van is they've put the outlet in the middle of the van, which is really silly. Unless you're going to a campsite that's got a motorhome drainage point where you can just release it because you're sitting over a drain, it's a faff. So in this video, unsurprisingly, we modified ours. But then once you've got that modification, if you want to pay the extra on a campsite and the campsite has the option of having drainage at your plot, you're going to want some pipe work, of course, to get that grey water from the van into the drain that the campsite uses. Everyone uses Colapz pipes, I would suggest, near enough everyone. They're very simple. They extend, I think, from 1 metre each to 2 metre each. And they're just really handy. They connect together. So it's best to buy a pack. We ended up buying 2 packs because you can never have enough. No. We did find on one occasion we needed to use some of the second pack. Go and check them out in the storefront. Really useful. Most campers are using them. Next, again, still me. We've got the fuse kit, because at the end of the day, you just never know, do you? No. You're going to blow a fuse, probably at an inconvenient time, at an inconvenient location. And when that fuse blows, you're not going to have a spare. So next one is a camping table. We chose a really simple, low camping table. Yeah. Quite cheap, made by Kampa with a K. We're very happy with it. It's sturdy enough. It does what it needs to do. 3 meters, heavy duty, jumping cables. Now, the thing with vans is...
Not a skip rope?
No, it's not a skip rope.
No.
Well, I suppose you could skip with it.
No, I don't think so.
Not while it's plugged onto the battery.
No. Don't think that'd be right.
The results would be shocking. So, this particular one I'm showing you is heavy duty because, of course, the engine's quite a size on this van. It's 2.3 and it draws, I think it's 950, I think it is, cold cranking amps. So that's a lot of amps when you're trying to start the van. It's always handy to have something that's going to start it, because I think the reality is with some people, these vans don't always get used, and particularly in winter, if they don't get used, and maybe you've got immobilisers on them, trackers on them, alarms on them, they don't like sitting in winter with all that stuff running off the battery. Now, there are other options to try and keep your battery topped up, including a trickle charger. We can't do that because we're on a campsite, so we sometimes disconnect the battery altogether. If you want to see the safest and the correct way of jumping a Fiat Ducato van battery, check out this video. A link to all these videos will be in the description below, everyone. So we would recommend it. The next one, and it's currently sitting in our handy little cupboard in our, I was going to say bathroom area, but someone picked me up and said there is no bathroom in there. So in our washroom area, we've currently got an oil-filled radiator. We like the oil-filled one because most campsites will cope with the drain that they use, and it gives off, I guess the obvious word is radiant heat, but even
ambient heat,
whichever, yeah. I'll stay radiant, you say ambient, but it gives off that heat, and it's still giving off that heat because it's oil filled when it clicks off, so it lasts for quite a while. Yeah. To go with a camping table, why not have some camping chairs? Again, they're on screen. The choice of camping chairs, of course, is vast. You may already have camping chairs, you may not. Please go and check them out if you want to see which ones we use. We're very happy with ours. They don't take up much space because they're camping chairs. The next one, in fact, I'll do the next, yeah, there's 2 options for this one. So you've got something called Purisol. This is for treating the fresh water that you put in your tank. It's not something that we do all the time, but we typically treat the water tanks in this van once every 6 months. It really depends on use and personal taste, if you pardon the pun. You can either use Purisol or, as I frantically scroll across my screen, Puriclean. Both are in the storefront shop that I promised I wouldn't mention again, but I just have. I'll try and not mention it anymore. You just need to consider that you're going to have to treat the water tank at some point, and obviously the pipes that feed from that water tank. So you're going to need something, whether it's the Purisol or the Puriclean or another make. Next, we've got a warning triangle. The warning triangle we have includes a first aid kit, etc. Because again, you're out and about, you're away from home, something's going to happen. You want something in the van rather than having to try and find the nearest shop or chemist. Something we haven't purchased at this moment in time, not needed it, but if you do more, certainly campsites where you're literally on a field or whatever, so basically soft ground, is grip mats. They're on screen now. At the moment, they're £21 at the time of filming, but of course, it's best that we don't quote much of the pricing. You know, when I said we're going to tot it up here, we are totting it up, but they're sort of average rounded prices, because at the end of the day, prices fluctuate, don't they? So you might consider grip mats. Now, what your van should already have, and if not, you need them, is a smoke detector and a CO2 carbon monoxide detector.
Yes. You
need both of those. We're going to jump back to the mains for a minute, because on screen now you'll see an adapter. This adapter basically allows you to plug that lovely 25 metre cable that I showed you at the beginning of the video, everyone, into a 3-pin socket. You might be keeping the van at home and want it plugged in. You might be staying at friends and want to use their electricity, preferably for free. So you're going to need to be able to plug into a 3-pin socket, and that is what you need to buy if you want to do that. Next one is Orinoco. I like calling this
Gonzo.
Orinoco.
Gonzo.
Well, Orinoco's on screen. I'll put Gonzo on screen just for fun. You can see why we're saying this. There's kind of a resemblance if you had a side profile. Now, you're going to want a jug because you might be walking to fill that fresh water tank rather than using the hose. Now, as you can probably tell, this one is just a 3-litre jug. So with a 100-litre tank, if we drain this tank completely, I'm doing quick mathematics here, but that's going to be at least 30 trips, probably about 33 trips, I guess, 34 trips with the jug, which of course we're not going to do. You can buy a 5-litre one, you can buy a 10-litre one. I like the 3-litre one for 2 reasons. One, we don't typically have to refill the 100 litres. 2, it keeps me fit. Walking backwards and forwards. Orinoco.
And its size is better for fitting in your little cubby in the back.
So for once, size matters, but
again,
smaller.
Yeah.
And with happy days. The next one is a gas cylinder level checker. Now, you don't have to have one of these. We like having one of these. We like to know how much gas is left in them. They're not 100% reliable all the time, but most of the time we think it gets it right. You basically just place it at the side of the cylinder, press against it, it'll beep, and then it'll either go green or red. Obviously it's red because there's no gas in my finger. We like it. We find it handy, but again, you don't have to buy one. They are quite expensive, and I guess some people would probably say, do you know what? I know when I need gas because it's run out. Next one is spirit level. Now, you know, it's on the screen now. We've never actually purchased one, even though we would recommend you probably do, because I'm a bit sort of laid back, shall we say, when it comes to getting the van level. The more level the van is, of course, there's a couple of obvious reasons why it's better to have the van level. Number one, it feels more natural when you're moving around in the van. But number two, particularly on older vehicles, certain makes of fridges don't tolerate being too much on a lean. So you really do want to try and make sure that the van's relatively level. You've also got to think about drainage from the sink and the shower, of course. Depending on where your grey tank is on the van, and depending on the lean that you're parked on, you may decide that you want to park more level, or sit it on some ramps that I'll put on screen now, just to get that level right. We've obviously been quite lucky and or laid back because we've so far just, I guess the phrase is, got away with it. So we don't actually possess one, I will say on camera, everyone, but a lot of people do, and I understand why. Next is just a 2-gang extension cable, because if, like our van, your van hasn't got much in the way of outlets, it's sometimes better to have an extra outlet. Next is how to collect your grey waste water, and in the before the edit, that took me 3 times to say that for some reason. I might put an outtakes at the end. We use a Wastemaster economy. It does the job. It's about £40. You place it under the pipe, under the outlet, and it can hold quite a lot of that grey waste water, and it's easy to wheel it along. Next, we said about the gas. Spanner to obviously disconnect the gas and reconnect hopefully a second tank if your van's got 2 tanks like ours. We're moving on to toiletry stuff at the moment now. So on screen, I'm going to show you the Thetford Aqua Chem Blue. Other flavours are available. This is, of course, a treatment that we put inside the toilet cassette. More about that will be in this video that we've already mentioned. There's also now on screen a toilet bowl cleaner. And while staying with the toilet cassette, we use this seal lubricant when we basically service the toilet cassette, maybe annually. It's basically just cleaning and lubricating the rubber seals, just to obviously give them a lot more longevity, make them last better. And then the next one is Fenwicks waste pipe and tank cleaner. So this is basically a treatment that you can put down the plug holes, and it will get to the grey waste water tank, and it will hopefully make it smell nice and fresh, because sometimes grey waste water tanks can smell a little bit, you know. The next one, everyone, and most campers will know about this item already, is something called a Ridge Monkey. Now, this is definitely over to Fran, because Fran does the cooking in the van. I only cook toast. Over to you.
My Ridge Monkey. I love my Ridge Monkey. It comes apart into 2 pieces.
It does. And
it comes with a compact utensil set.
Yes.
Also, it comes in a little packet. And the packet's put all away nice and neat and tidy.
So you basically got 1 pan or 2 pans for the price of one.
Exactly.
And Fran loves it.
Because you've got your utensils, you don't need to bring separate ones with you.
No. It is good. Everyone pretty much that I've ever met recommends a Ridge Monkey. Everyone needs to buy one. They are available in different sizes, but you just need one.
Absolutely.
Sticking with utensil type stuff, plate set. I'll put this on screen now. Again, of course, the choice is endless. You might even choose to bring your plates from home.
Oh, yeah.
Just remember that whatever you bring is going to rattle around in the van, and we'll discuss that a little bit more in a few minutes' time. We find it handy just to have the plates and the cups, etc., already in the van. The reason we find it handy is because when we're going to use the van, we're already putting stuff in the van, aren't we? Because we've got to put all our clothes and all the packing that we need to take on holiday with us. What I don't want to do is add to that packing by bringing other stuff like knives, forks, plates, etc. How about a pour over coffee? And I'm reading it verbatim here. Filter, stainless steel, thingamy-bob. We've got a little insect footage that I'll try and find and put in the video now. Coffee. If that's how you like your coffee.
A nice, fresh, filtered coffee. Can't beat that on a morning.
Tea towels or just cloths in general. We do use quite a few in the van, and one of the main reasons isn't just for drying stuff off, but it's actually stopping the rattles as you're driving along to the campsite and back from the campsite, because of course you can use these to put between the cutlery, to put between the plates that we've already mentioned. They're just really handy things to have. Drying the cutlery. We like to have a drying mat, and preferably one where you can stand up the plates, because again, although the kitchen area in our van is really very good indeed, particularly if you think that the van is under 6 metres.
And you've got a cooker and you've got an oven.
And a big fridge.
And a big fridge.
It really is a usable kitchen, but you want somewhere to dry that cutlery.
Yeah.
So we would definitely recommend it. The next one, I think, is on Fran's side.
Yes, it's my pop-up bowl.
Yay!
Now you like a good pop-up bowl. It saves you space.
It does.
Easy to dismantle.
Yes.
And easy to put back up. Just like that.
Fran makes it look easy. I would make it look difficult. But yes, the pop-up bowls are very good indeed.
Yeah, space saving. You can't beat it.
Do you know
use it for
what we
sauces and we use it for salads and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and as you say, once it's folded back away, it doesn't take much space, does it?
No.
Do you know what we haven't got?
The kettles.
Do you want to grab one of the kettles?
Do you want me to grab a kettle?
Grab a kettle. It's worth the wait. I'll sing to you quietly while we're waiting.
5 minutes later.
In previous videos, we've been known to have a race. I'm not going to do a race today with these ones. But basically, which one would you like, dear? That one?
That'll do, yeah.
That's the harder one.
Both of them are hard, actually. But this one, however you want to do it. That's the harder one.
That, of course, is a pop-up kettle.
And you can do about 2 cups of tea.
Yeah, about 2 cups. That one, of course, is for the gas hob. This one is electric. We wouldn't be without them.
Nope.
I absolutely love them. Was that 30 seconds worth Fran going to the trouble of getting them? Yes, it was. We love our kettles. Obviously, cookware. Again, put it on screen now for you. We keep a little dustpan and brush. Again, on screen for you. A torch, because, you know, the lights might go out, and let's be honest, if they do, it means it's dark.
Yeah.
And if the lights go out and it's dark, it's dark. You're going to want a torch. Somewhere to hang your clothes. That's on screen.
Yes.
Check that out.
Yeah, because like, if you go out and you get absolutely soaked, because you know what the British weather's like. 1 minute the sun's shining, and the next night it's like a typhoon's gone through. If you come back and you've got all soaking wet socks and trousers, you need somewhere just to hang it to dry.
We've done that a few times. Yes. Jumping around here with the stuff, we got a toaster. Now, okay, nothing special about a toaster, you might say, but you have to be aware, and we discuss it in this video, that you're limited on the amount of watts you can use on a campsite. Most campsites will cope with quite a high number of watts, but by the same token, you will reach a point that exceeds what that campsite can deliver, and the fuse, or should I say an RCD, is going to trip, particularly if you're using more than one item at a time. So we would always recommend a low wattage toaster. And whilst we're talking about watts in general, microwave, we use a 700 watt microwave. We use a 700 watt because, again, it's lower wattage, less risk of causing any problem when you're on the campsite. The next one, I'm going to ask Fran to do this time, and I'm laughing because there's a reason why I'm laughing, obviously, isn't there? So Fran showed you this, the Luci light. I call it Luci. Some people might call it Luci because it's spelled L-U-C-I. A wonderful solar-powered lantern, I guess you would call it. Fran was kind enough to show this in action and blowing it up the first time. I attempted to do it in another video the second time and failed abysmally. So we're now going to watch and see if Fran can...
see if I can do it this time.
Fran can blow up a Luci lantern.
No. Escaping again. Hang on.
I'm enjoying this a little more than I should be. That was helpful.
I got a little bit in there.
Go on. I bet you can. If I have a go, I shall just go red and it'll probably get even less. It's going. It's going. It's going. Everyone, look at the screens now, whatever device, and just go, blow, blow, blow. We can hear the encouragement coming through the screen now. Look. The next trick will be, has it got any power, just to show you it on, but we can't disturb her. My beautiful wife blowing into a Luci lantern.
Now, there you go. There you go.
And it still kept the power, even though
that's been away for a long time.
That's even though it's not seen sun, like myself, because we live in the UK for quite a while. We would recommend them. I think they're probably around £30. Well, they've added it up on my little tot-up figure above here because I'm the one that's paying for all this, apparently. We think this is really awesome. It's easy to leave in a window to charge up when you're out the van, and by the time you come in at night, it's there ready for you, isn't it? So
there you go.
We've gained a light. Next one is a battery pack. Do you want to show the battery pack?
Yes, this is ideal. I mean, we've only got one USB charger socket,
yes,
which
there's
is
only
just
one USB
over there.
charger
so
socket,
if you've got a phone or an iPad and something else that's got to be charged,
yeah,
you need one of these.
Yeah, you probably got one at home already. It's just a booster pack at the end of the day, but we definitely recommend travelling with one.
Yeah.
We're going to move briefly to TVs. Now, some people think that you don't want a TV because you're on holiday, and I get that, but some people do want a TV even though they're on holiday, and there are many sort of campervan motorhome suitable TVs out there, and of course size again becomes a question which only you can know because different people accept different sizes. Our Cello TV is a 16-inch TV, which might sound small for a 6-metre motorhome. We get on with it just fine. The sound, slight technical issue, as you probably worked out, because that caused the thing holding the banners up to come down. So we'll move swiftly on. Let's talk TVs for a minute. Now, to be honest, some people say, well, you don't want to have a TV in your van because you're on holiday, and I get that. Some people do want a TV in the van, maybe particularly if you've got younger folk. So we do have a TV in our van. It's only a 16-inch Cello. We're happy with the brand Cello, to be fair. The sound is not... The sound is a little bit tinny, as you can imagine, because it's a small TV at the end of the day, but we've had no problems with it. It does play DVDs as well, and we actually like it. The reason ours is only 16-inch in a 6-metre van is because we bought it originally for our campervan, and we've not seen fit to change it because it's doing what it needs to do.
Exactly.
So next, I guess you've got a Thermos flask, Thermos cups. You could bring them for home if you wish, of course. We actually do bring them from home. The next one, and we get asked this quite a lot, is storage, because, of course, in our 6-metre van, we've got a lovely big habitation area, but that means storage is at a premium. So we get asked quite often in the comments by email, etc., what do we use to pack all of our clothes, etc. Fran has got what we use, and we love these.
They take a lot of things. This has got a bed cover that softens the bit that when you're on the down layer. This has got tea towels. It's got 2 blankets in there. So it takes quite a lot of stuff. And all 3 bags fit in that little cubby hole in the back.
If you pack sort of logically, and I guess what I mean by logically is you might pack per person or you might pack per type of clothing. However it is that you choose to do it, it just means it all fits in the van a lot better, doesn't it? So we like that. I think that's it, everyone. I don't know what this cost is saying up above my head now, but I do know it's going to be a lot of money. And we did say at the very beginning of the video, we're not suggesting that everyone needs to buy everything. No. This video hopefully has been very helpful and informative to you, and to suggest some of the items that you might choose that you're going to want. Ultimately, once you've been on your own camping trip, you're going to know what you want. Yeah. You're going to find things that you wished you'd got, and then you'll buy them. But this should have formed some kind of help for you by showing you the items that we use in our van. So if you did find it informative, please consider hitting the thumbs up button, because that really does help build the channel. And if you're not subscribed to the Live for Travel channel, there'll be a link above my head in a few moments. La! Ah! In this video, now, next is grey weight. It's used a lot, that's why.
It's a used item. Keep it all nice and clean and tidy. I love it. It comes apart, so you can have 2 different things. Do you know what?
The next, and I know the next